Welcome back to a new episode on the Feebly Brush. Let's get started. I'll be taking you through the entire process from the initial rough sketch to layering textures, refining details, and finalizing the dramatic lighting. This video showcases not just the techniques, but also the thought process behind bringing such a vivid scene to life. So join me as we dive into the making of this epic battlefield moment where myth meets raw destruction. As usual, I'll start with the key foundations of this piece, which is the line art. Before the colors and textures brings this painting to life, the line art serves as a vital blueprint. It allows me to define the dragon's menacing posture, the tension in the battlefield, and the flow of energy in the composition. So I started with the main focal object, which is the dragon's head, an elongated muscular neck, as this is what the viewer will first lay eyes on. Also, I wanted this dragon to have a T-Rex facial features, with a thick muzzle and jagged teeth spreading all over the place and overlapping one another. That's your typical dragon's face, basically. I wanted this shot to have a battlefield scene in it. I wasn't quite sure whether to come up with an enclosed scene which takes place inside a cave or something, or somewhere in the open. I assume that whenever there's a scene in games or movies where a dragon is being challenged face off, it usually starts off inside a cave of some sort, and then the final battle takes place in an open area where the dragon is probably guarding a castle or something. But that's not important right now. Let's carry on. I decided to go with the open environment scene, and I envisioned a battle scene taking place right on the edge of a cliff, overseeing the vast ocean and some close-by cliffs. Once I had a rough sketch idea, I dabbed on some paint on the canvas, and I wanted this artwork to have a classic worn-out painting style, with warm and saturated cools or cool colors to give it that old canvas style painting. This scene takes place somewhere at the sunset where the sky is almost warm, reddish, orangish, with some saturated blues, more gray than blue. This color will have an effect on the entire environment. I worked a bit on the main focal as well, which is a dragon, added more details such as the darkened skin texture, the scales, and the shines and spikes, and yeah. Now I wanted the scene to be epic, so I had to add the flames bursting out of its mouth, like it's about to annihilate an entire the army which is marching towards it. Speaking of that army, I worked a bit on the humans. I personally love artworks that include epic battlefields with soldiers filling the entire area for as far as the eyes can see, especially in fantasy scenes such as this. So instead of painting each soldier, I'm going to share this technique with you, which is quite effective. What I do is, the soldiers that are closest to the viewer, which is the foreground, I spend some time detailing them, adding little details and working a bit more on the overall attire or clothing or armor, whatever. Of course, not the entire soldier, but let's say right up to their torsos, depending on the camera shot. As you can see, this camera shot is a bit above the head level, so you could say that the upper body is more visible, especially the head and the shoulders and the arms. You can see a bit of the torsos as well. And then I proceed further in the distance as the details wear off. This is basically the technique. What I mean by that is that I don't have to paint everything on the soldier. I just emphasize shadows and reflections, especially if they're wearing shiny armor, like the scene over here, like helmets, shoulder pads, spears, swords, these kind of metal objects. You can add reflections and shines to them. This way you don't have to paint an entire soldier, but rather give indications that this strokes defines a soldier wearing a body armor, and our eyes will fill in the gaps and just simply read it as soldiers in the distance. That's because the viewer has already seen the soldiers in the foreground. As we talked about, the soldiers in the foreground are more detailed. So obviously those little strokes and shines are also most probably soldiers. That's how the viewer will read it. This will definitely give the impression of a vast battlefield scene, just like this artwork I've done recently as well. Go ahead, follow my social media accounts below to look at more cool artworks like this. To make the scene more dramatic and add some visual movement, I painted some fog and some particles to give it that visual movement. Added some flags and banners and spears. And yeah, that's about it. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for more digital painting breakdowns. Thank you for watching. See you soon in the next video. Bye bye.